my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I'm a mom to 4. I love to homeschool, I love to read good books, and I love to share both of those things on this channel. So thank you for stopping by. So I was inspired to make this video because we have made a couple changes in our homeschool since we started, and we started kind of late July. Let me start with schedule. So I have a schedule / routine that I'm still roughly following. I will link above the video I made about a month ago talking about this. The big blocks are still there, like morning time, skill time, science, history, afternoon time. That's all kind of still there. What's changed is this skill section. So I had it set up in big blocks. Like I'm gonna work with my son first while my daughter plays with the twins. And then I'm gonna work with my daughter while my son plays with the twins. What I found is that didn't work really at all on a couple fronts. One, it was just a little too much work for my son doing phonics, math, logic, handwriting, all those things all at once. He kind of just got tired out. So he needed a break. 2, it was very hard for my daughter to play with the twins for that long. She just gets distracted. She doesn't want to. They don't want to be distracted that long. So first, I just really had to accept that fact instead of push against it and just be like, okay, this is who we are. This is the age of my kids. Here's my plan. So I just broke it into smaller things. Like I did phonics with my son first, and then we take a break. And then I did phonics with my daughter. And what I decided to do, because the twins by this time didn't want to play with anybody and they just wanted to be on my lap. It's very hard having 2 2-year-olds on your lap trying to teach school. So I decided to play an educational show for math time. It varies between who goes first, my son or my daughter. I work with them and then I work with the other. And during that time frame, everybody else is upstairs watching like Daniel Tiger, Wildcat, George, some more educational stuff. I found that that is worth it. And I was having too high of expectations for my big kids to play with the twins and for my twins to stay distracted that long. So that was my compromise, and so far it's working pretty well. I can get through those really important subjects that need my time and my focus with both of my older kids well enough. And then the rest of it, the twins are around. Morning time, read alouds, all that, the twins are around, and that's just fine. Okay, so that was my first big kind of adjustment, was to realize my schedule wasn't set up very realistically. So the next big area that I have changed, or at least adjusted some things, is phonics. So I had a major panic moment when I first started with my son early August, and we were doing review from the Logic of English Foundations A and B, which we did over the past 1.5 years. So we were reviewing it, and it just felt like he didn't remember anything. He couldn't remember any of the phonograms, how to write any of it. And I was just had this like major panic, like maybe I'm making this too complicated. I love Logic of English. I'm so behind the principles of it, but I was like, maybe I just need a simple program. So I literally went on Amazon that day and I ordered Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, which is a good program. It's very different from Logic of English. And so when I got it, I was just feeling like, okay, maybe I'll just simplify, streamline, we'll just do phonics and we'll catch the rest of the stuff that Logic of English offers just in different ways. I was pretty willing to just do whatever because I felt like all the work we did the past 1.5 years meant nothing. But I had to calm down because let's be honest, kids need review. And so once I told him that he needed to review and get to a certain level before we would go on to Foundation C, he was more motivated and suddenly he was trying a lot harder. So that was good. And when I was trying to work with him on Teach Your Child to Read in 100 Easy Lessons, the beginning was just so easy, which is fine. I would expect that. It just didn't teach it with the depth that I really appreciate with Logic of English, and just that there's a lot of understanding along with the learning as to why it sounds like this, or how to use it like this, or using this spelling rule. And it slows the kids down for sure. And I knew that. Logic of English is not like a get your child to read quick program, but it gets your child to read really well, and it sets a foundation that is amazing. Once I was able to calm down and I realized I didn't need to switch programs. I needed to relax. And then at the same time, I also had somebody comment, which was this is fantastic. This is one of the reasons I love having a channel on YouTube, is I was saying that I was planning to do Foundations C and D for his first grade year. And someone commented that they're like, oh, most people, it seems, do Foundations C for first grade, Foundations D for second grade. And I'm like, oh, that makes it so much better. We can spend more time, we can stop, we can review, we can slow down. We don't have to go quite so quickly. I just felt like that wouldn't work very well. He's motivated. He really wants to learn to read. So that's a very good thing. but some of these concepts are hard, and just the way that the logic of English is set up, it has a lot of pieces and parts that kind of work the whole system that I feel like they will all fit together by the end of D. And I can trust that process. And so once I realized we could do C this year, D next year, didn't have to pick up a whole nother curriculum, I could just relax. I felt so much better, and it's been going pretty well. So there's a lesson if you want to learn from me. Don't panic and just toss out your curriculum right away. Okay, but for my daughter, let's switch to her phonics. And so she's a young 5, June birthday. I've been holding her kind of kindergarten year very loosely. I was planning on starting her with Foundations A, Singapore Dimensions KA, and a Danielian handwriting workbook. That was kind of her basics. And she just doesn't feel quite ready to me. She wants to be involved, but when we were doing some of the Foundations A work, she was just doing a whole lot of guessing and a whole lot of not really caring or listening and just wanting to kind of be done. And so I was like, well, maybe she's just not quite ready. This is not a time to push. And so what we did is we stopped, we put a hold on Foundations A, and we're just going to continue with the Explode the Code, because we started that at the end of last year. I picked up A, B, and C. We got through A and half of B. So we're just back to B. We're doing Explode the Code B, and that's where she's getting a little handwriting, because she also pushed back on the handwriting. I'd be like, okay, let's go through how to make the A. Okay, go around and down, back up, monkey tail, all these things. And she was just like, I don't care. She'd go the wrong way. She'd like do one and be like, I'm done, and it doesn't even look like an A. And you're like, maybe we'll just hold off, try again. Like, I don't want to push her, but I also don't want to let her off the hook. So I'm kind of in that weird spot of just right now I'm waiting a bit, and then we'll try again. And she's just so different from my son, so I'm not sure how best to teach her, but I will learn. So anyways, that's where she's at, is we're just pausing a bit on kindergarten. She still is involved in all the family subjects and stuff. And she likes math, so she's happy to do the math part. So I'll take it. Anyway, so that's my phonics update. As for math, it's going fairly well. I plan on switching my son from Singapore Dimensions math to primary math. And I was initially planning on doing that right away. Like, we got through KA and about half of KB last year, and I'll link some of my math videos up above. But once I got started with him, I realized he was missing some key concepts like counting to 100, counting by tens, counting by twos, time, money, some of these topics that were in the last like 7 or so chapters of KB. So what I decided is there's no rush. I don't have to rush to primary. So what we're doing is we're finishing up KB. So we're going to finish through that. It's probably going to get us about to November, maybe the beginning of November, before I switch into primary. So I know I have promised a lot of you a comparison video, which that's coming. I still plan on doing that. I just want to make sure he has a solid foundation before I jump into primary. So that will be probably a video that will be more in the new year, in 2021. So anyway, but otherwise math is going really well. Both kids do really well with math, and I have really appreciated the Singapore approach, so we're sticking with that. So some of you can probably guess the biggest change we're making if you saw my last video, which was about our plant unit study. So I'm a little on the fence about science. So like I said, is we are using elemental science biology for the grammar stage this year. And we started with the plant section. I did a whole unit for that, and I liked it. I liked a number of things about it. I liked the demonstrations the most. Like I was saying in my last video, the narration part was a challenge for me. I can totally own the fact that I need practice on facilitating that. They need practice on learning how to do that better. So I have a book. I'm in the middle of reading it. It's called Know and Tell. Love it. I'm learning a lot. So that's really good. But what was hard about elemental science is it just felt like too much. You either succeeded or failed based on these narrations, if you're planning on doing the notebook or the lap book. I just felt like we could read some of the resources and then talk about it, and the talking would go really well. But if I'm like, okay, bud, I'm gonna write down what you say. So how about you dictate to me, what's the purpose of the petals on a flower? What did we talk about? And he's like, I don't know. You know, and he just wouldn't do it. It was pretty simple stuff that we had a good discussion about, but like, I didn't know how to facilitate him kind of telling it to me. And so then I'd have nothing to write down, and then he was frustrated, I was frustrated, and that part just didn't go well. So what I'm thinking of doing is I'm thinking of keeping elemental science, sort of, as more of like a guide would probably be the best way to say it. And so I'm in the process of designing my own human body unit study. So look for that next week. I'm pretty much done. I'm just recording it, and I have lots of fun resources because that's my plan. Is I just want to make science a lot more fun. I felt like there was a little conflict with the elemental science when it was just trying to get answers out of him, and he just wasn't doing that. And my daughter, like, there was no go there, and she's 5, and she just was not having that. She would just copy whatever he was saying, and he didn't know what he was saying, and it was just kind of a cluster. And if we can have a good discussion about stuff, it's success. And then while we're doing that, I can practice narration. We can practice narration and figuring out how to work with him on that, because I think it's such an amazing skill. And then we'll keep up demonstrations, experiments, things like that, because that is a huge hit. It's great for this age. So that's my plan. I'm going to design my own study with a little bit of elemental science still in there. I haven't exactly nailed it down, but see my video next week, because I will explain everything I'm planning on doing, as well as my process for designing a unit study. And so if you're interested in that, stay tuned. So those are the main things. There's a few other things that I did shift around a bit, like our morning time basket. I shifted a little. I kind of made it a little too serious at first. I don't know. I'm adding more fun things. And I actually do have a video I'm planning on making here within the next month or so about my morning time basket. So see that. I'll explain kind of how I shifted stuff, but it's not too big of a deal for this video. As well as like artistic pursuits, we're loving. My kids really like it. Art appreciation, not really happening. Poetry and poetry tea time, that's been good. But mostly it's because they really enjoy making and cooking like the snacks beforehand. We do a lot of picnicking and reading poetry, or Harry Potter for that matter, during kind of our tea time, treat time. So yeah, those are kind of some big changes. I feel like it's basically the same. Some expectation changes, some curriculum adjustments, but mostly about the same. So I hope this is encouraging. I know this was a little bit more chatty of a video, but I find these videos so helpful. I find seeing somebody's plans and then seeing how the plans actually worked out to be actually more valuable videos. So I want to make sure I do these types of videos as often as there is something to share. So if you have any questions, please comment down below. If I didn't address one of the things you're following my channel for, please comment and see how I'm doing with that kind of stuff as well. And otherwise, thank you for stopping by. And please consider liking the video, subscribing to the channel. And otherwise, I will see you in the next video for my human body unit study video. Okay, have a wonderful day. All right, take care.